Today, it's a viewership request, the Kawai CA701 compared to the Roland LX-6. Stick around. Hi, this is Ted Barcelou for Alamo Piano Galleries. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions or comments regarding this video or any of the keyboards and others, just go ahead and leave them below. We'd like to interact and help build the viewership. Also, if you haven't already, please shop our online store at alamopianogalleries.com. A lot of the, just about everything that's covered in videos should be available online and have pricing information and delivery and all that kind of things. So today, as mentioned, it is the Concert Artist Series of Kawai, the CA701 model, and the Roland pianos, the LX-6 model. These two are very, very comparable, close in price, close in features, and they have some similarities, and they have a lot of things that are just different between the two manufacturers. And that's kind of what I wanted to focus on without going into tons of the technical detail. I want to kind of focus mostly on the playing experience. So first things first, what I did today before we shot the video and pulled the information up again is I sat down and I played both of them. And this is a surprising thing. I played them both not turned on, just to get a feel for which one does feel like a piano when you put the piano on silent mode or quiet mode if it's an acoustic piano that has hybrid features. And I have to say that I believe, just from personal experience, I can't say this is a fact because they each have their pluses and minuses. Playing them without the thing turned on gives you an insight as to what the action really, really feels like without the, I don't want to say distortion, probably distraction of hearing it and then hearing the effect of your touch and the key and how it responds. That comes secondary. I just wanted to check out the mechanics. Are they really graded hammers, and are they really heavier down there than they are up here? Because when you hear a low note, well, you think it's heavy, and the same thing when you hear a high note, you think it's light. So I turned a lot of that auditory distraction and fact, I turned all that off just to focus on the mechanics of each keyboard. That's a unique experience. Go try that. See which one you like better. I will tell you what, they had their likes and their dislikes. I guess there's the thing that I noticed is the Kawai action seems to be more like a really nice, gently, moderately broken in grand piano. It has the right amount of bounce, resilience, and all that kind of stuff. The Roland this one's been played in the store, so I went and tried another one, but the Roland has redesigned their action. They've changed their action from what it used to be. They now have the Progressive Hammer Action 100, which I think has a longer key. And it is a wooden key, and they both feel rock solid as a foundational piano type keyboard. More importantly, the Kawai focuses on the touch of a grand piano with their Grand Feel 3 wooden action. And they put that in there along with their top of the line sound sample, which comes from their SKEX 9-foot concert grand piano. This is a handmade, very refined, expensive, truly desirable instrument that has been captured and placed inside digitally in the CA701. Those two combination of their grand piano keys, their action, and then also the grand piano sound is exactly what Roland has in their LX-6, but it's a little bit different kind of a presentation. They have their sound card is a piano reality modeling. And what this does is it recreates the concept of a grand piano with all the keys working congruently with one another and adjacent, dissonant, all that kind of stuff. But it simulates the touch, the tone, and the action is recreated through a program, live as it happens. It's not a recording. So it is not a recording that has been fooled with and then placed for different kinds of how hard or soft you hit. It's actually a modeling system. So it has designed different hits in it from beginning to end. So it's not like it's limited in anything in terms of how you can get a response out of the model. That also leads Roland to be the only digital piano manufacturer that has 100% polyphony. You can hit 88 keys repeatedly and they'll just keep ringing if you have your foot on the sustain pedal. So that's something that is really, it has limitless polyphony on the acoustic piano sounds, and that is something that really does lend an extreme credence toward realism when you're playing the piano. And now what Roland's done is they've obviously taken the part that we're not making a digital piano. Roland calls these their Roland pianos. And part of it is they make it look like a piano, so they built the case. And it's not just for appearance. Kawai, on the other hand, has a case that looks like an upright piano or a small, upright or spin it type piano. And the Rolands are modeled to kind of have that design. The Kawai piano has a multicolor readout, which is about the size of a decent sized iPhone. And you can go through the app, and they both have so many different features that you can go in there and change the piano sound. You can change the dynamics of the hammers, the dampers, the strings, the resonance, the reverbs. You can change all different parameters on the Kawai. You can do the same thing on the Roland. I've done feature videos on the Roland where I've changed the tuning on a digital piano, which is absolutely a fun thing to do. That video should be out soon. The other thing I wanted to mention is not just the cabinets for design and look. The Roland has actually broken down their cabinet into true resonance and divided their speaker system based on where they place them and the frequencies they're reproducing. And they also have resonance built into these because there's boxes that within this box of the piano shell to give resonance and a more sense of realism. So before I get into telling you how it's all divided, I think what we ought to do is have a listen to let's listen to the LX-6 first, and then we'll listen to the Kawai CA701 and focus on primarily just the grand piano sounds, because I think that's where I really want to just kind of leave this with the grand piano, because the idea here is that both of these instruments are functioning primarily as piano replacements. So let's have a listen and come right back. Based on sound alone and based on some of the comments and things that I've read online, there are those that absolutely love the Roland and they love the sound and they never tire of it. There are a few people that have had comments that they've tried the Roland and that after a certain amount of time, it seems to be a little bit harsh or bright or brittle sounding to them. I think in terms of the realism of sound overall, it's pretty hard to beat a really high quality sample, particularly of an SKEX type quality piano. So that's, again, personal preference. You either like the sampled sound of the Kawai or the modeled sound of the Roland. They're both desirable instruments. They both have around 40 type sounds in it with about 4. The Kawai has more acoustic piano sounds in it than the Roland does, and the Roland has 4 genuinely limitless polyphony sounds for their grand pianos, which are awesome sounding, and they play and respond well. Both of these are extremely competitive keyboards. We've had people come in, literally the last 701 that we sold, they were here over 3 hours, and I'd say they played each of them equally. And it was a husband-wife. The wife wanted this, but the husband was the player, and I think she liked the cabinet better, but she also said she preferred the sound. He went with the Kawai. Some other people ended up going with the Roland. Things that were brand new when they came out with the CA701 model that was improved to this was, number one, they had the competition grand rendering inside it, which I think is the highest, to me, it's one of the highest quality samples I've ever played on a digital piano. They also had included the Piano Artisan, where you can go in and make all the minor adjustments to anything that you want on the piano. They also had integrated Bluetooth with MIDI and audio, and they put in, it is a multicolor anti-glare LCD on the end. And also they have changed the design. The Roland has everything as well. They have their own Piano Artisan. You can go in and make tons of changes. There's what's called a Roland Piano app, is the Piano Designer. And the pianos are available from Roland in polished ebony, charcoal black, and dark rosewood, which is what I believe we have here, unless this is the charcoal black. I can't tell by the colors or the numbers yet, but ebony polish is the one that I always favor, because I really do think that they feel better when you play them and they sound better. Whether that's psychological, I always compare it to washing your car and thinking it runs better. But at the same time, there is a little bit a higher pride of ownership in the ebony polish, because it looks exactly like a polished piano. In terms of the sound system, Roland breaks theirs down 32 watts into their main bass resonator, and they have two 21-watt amps, both for the mids and for the highs. And those speakers are spread out like highs, mids, and bass, just almost identical like a piano. And the whole cabinet feels and plays like a really true acoustic piano. The sound system on the CA701 is ideally the same way, but the speakers face down. There are tweeters that face up, and there are back speakers. You do get a lot of back resonance out of the cabinet. It does not have a soundboard on it like its older brothers. The 901 has a soundboard on it that really drastically changes how this instrument resonates. It is a model up, and it does have a major difference in the sound. In terms of how the sound is reproduced, it would be nice to take the Kawai sound and run it through the Roland cabinet, which we have not done. That might be a video idea, just to see how the resonance in the cabinets are different, because when it comes down to it, I prefer the Roland. Now, the warranties, it's pretty hard to argue. Roland has one of the best warranties on the planet. It's 10 years, all parts, all service, and it includes labor, which means they come in, they fix it on site. I think if there's very few things that you can buy as a consumer that has a warranty like that, it compared with a 5-year warranty, parts and service, and certain items, labor on Kawai. So also, the other thing that I think is amazing is that they do it for 10 years. I think if I sat on the committee, I think 5 years, 100% parts and service is enough, and plus you're cutting out 5 years of liability later on. But apparently, based on their track record, Roland electronic products do not really break over time. and that's why they invented that warranty. If you notice, and if you hear, and if you have your opinion on the differences between the CA701 and the LX6, man, leave us some comments. We'd like to interact and see what your thoughts are. Those of you that have been fortunate to play both of these, whether they're turned on or not, let me know your experience on that. And again, reminding you, this is Ted Barsalou with Alamo Piano Galleries. We thank you for your time and attention and viewership, and we will be looking for you next time. See you soon.